And now we want to take you on a sea voyage to find out more about one of the planet's most fascinating animals, the great white shark. There's still a lot we don't know about the world's largest predatory fish, but that's all about to change thanks to an elite crew of fishermen and researchers whose adventures you can now see every week when we're going to have a special broadcast by the National Geographic channel. Here's a sneak peek. This team of experts is tracking great white sharks deep into the Pacific Ocean to this place, called SOFA, short for Shared Offshore Feeding Area. Why these fish return to these waters is unknown. The crew's mission: to tag these sharks to find out where they're born, where they mate, and where they migrate. Not an easy task.
They require us to catch the shark, bring them up on board, and bolt this thing to their dorsal fin.
Watch as a smaller boat snags a great white on the line.
They're gonna go fight the shark, tire it out, and bring it back to us. We're gonna put it in the sling.
They've designed a system of 4 fixed buoys, creating hundreds of pounds of drag, wearing down the fighting fish.
Right there, up.
Once they steer the shark into a cradle next to the mothership, the crew is in a race against the clock. If they don't get her back to the water in less than 20 minutes, she might die.
Been out of the water 8 minutes so far.
They attach the tracking device to the dorsal fin. Each time the shark breaks the water surface, its position will be transmitted in real time for up to 6 years. As the great whites are released, a trail of clues begins. And joining us now is Chris Fisher. He's the executive producer and leader of Expedition Great White, which airs Monday night on the National Geographic channel. Welcome. First of all, I have to ask you, what is that around your neck?
This is the largest circle hook ever produced to actually capture fish. This is not a gag. This is what we've used. And these fish are so powerful, they've actually broken 2 of these in half and straightened 2 of them.
Wow. Well, I want to talk about where these fish go, because what's very interesting is it's just very few handful of places where they go in the world. What is interesting about this island, and why do they go there?
Well, in the past, people thought a lot of these aggregation sites that many people know of in South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, the Farallones, and Guadalupe Island, not too far from San Diego, people thought they were there to breed. And people thought that people thought they were there to feed. What we're starting to learn is they're actually there to breed, and it's important that we understand where they breed, where they feed, and where they give birth, so that we can put together a management plan to look after them long term.
And why is it that we know so little about the great white?
Well, no one has ever really been able to handle live, mature specimens of this size and deliver them to the science community so that they can have access to attach tags, draw blood, take DNA samples, and let them go alive. And we're the first people who've created a system to deliver the giants to the genius, the beast to the brain, so to speak.
Well, we've seen video of what happens when you pull them onto the platform. Is it as dangerous as it looks?
It's not quite as bad as it looks, because white sharks have bones like a skate. They're soft, they're like cartilage. So when they experience gravity for the first time, they can't hardly move themselves. Now, they have made moves at some of my guys' legs. They have kicked people and knocked them over. But I kind of like it to Jabba the Hutt. They're so big that when they're in gravity, they can't hardly move themselves.
Well, it's mind-boggling. We were talking about this image of this shark behind us. You said that's nothing compared to some of the things you've seen.
Oh, yeah, that's a small one. On Monday night, people will see the biggest fish ever caught and released alive, ever, in the show, is Kimmel, a full-grown female. She was 16 feet 7 inches long, weighed somewhere just under 5,000 pounds, and right now she is rewriting white shark science. She's beaming in most days, and she is where everyone expected her not to be.
And timing is of the essence here. We know that you have only a few minutes when they're on this platform. What goes through your mind?
Well, it's when you're in the middle of it, only thing that's going through your mind is, let's look after the shark, because we got to get the shark back in the water in good shape, because if it doesn't swim away, we can't collect the data we need to solve the puzzle. So we have people keeping water in their mouths to keep it going over their gills to keep them alive, people working on the tag. Dr. Domar is drawing blood samples and DNA samples, and one of the most amazing things I think even Doc would say we've been able to pull off is we've caught several male sharks that actually had sperm in their clasper fins, which is direct, real data and evidence to prove exactly where and when they're breeding.
And your ultimate goal, obviously, is to follow them and to get more data and make sure they can actually live longer than we are seeing now. They're close to becoming extinct, as we know. So this is great research that you've been doing. I'm sure your mom is very excited when she sees that video. It's kind of jaw-dropping, but you can see the Expedition Great White on Monday on the National Geographic channel. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.